कि 12 बजे के बाद जहाज मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा।
12 बजे दोपहर को कारगिल में फर्स्ट 48 आवर्स के लिए हेलीकॉप्टर्स अवेलेबल नहीं थे, बिकॉज एयरफोर्स चीफ ने बोला कि जी मुझे तो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने कुछ बताया नहीं।
आर वी ए यूनाइटेड फोर्स और वी आर अ डिसजॉइंटेड फोर्स?
वी डोंट सिट इन आवर एयरफील्ड्स एंड फाइट बैटल्स। आर्मी की बजट से पेमेंट होती है।
तो मतलब आप कह रहे हैं कि जहाज एयरफोर्स को जाते थे पर
बजट आर्मी की जो अटैक हेलीकॉप्टर्स, क्योंकि वो आर्मी के लिए खरीदे जाते हैं।
सर हमारी मिलिट्री क्या प्रिपेयर्ड है टू फ्रंट वॉर के लिए?
मिलिट्री प्रिपेयर्ड है बट वी नीड इक्विपमेंट। टेल मी, मैं आपको सीधा साधा क्वेश्चन पूछता हूँ, हमने अगर पाकिस्तान और चाइना दोनों से लड़ाई करनी है टू फ्रंट वॉर, हमारे पास 31 स्क्वाड्रन्स काफ़ी
कैजुअलिटीज हैं, रात को एयरफोर्स फ्लाई नहीं कर रही है से आफ्टर मिडनाइट एंड सो ऑन, सो दे वर कोऑर्डिनेशन प्रॉब्लम्स एंड टीम वाली बात नहीं थी।
वो उनका था कि
एक तरफ हम बोल रहे हैं कि हमें जॉइंट फोर्स की तरह काम करना चाहिए, हमें इंटीग्रेटेड फोर्स की तरह काम करना चाहिए एंड हमें बैटल थिएटर्स बनाने चाहिए, और दूसरी तरफ जंग में मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा।
टू सपोर्ट द आर्मी इन द टैक्टिकल बैटल एरिया, दे कांट बी गोइंग like the fighter aircraft. The problem is the military है. No one wants to lose assets. No one wants to lose what he's already got. It's tough. In America, the government had to pass legislation to make sure that all attack helicopters, all other helicopters come part of the army.
Is theater command is the right strategy and doctrine?
Which is a dominant force in our northern borders and eastern borders. It's all army based. You have assets located. Hashimara, Bagdogra, आगे. These are terrain based command.
आर्मी एविएशन की अलग से जरूरत क्यों पड़ी? जय हिंद फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम टू रेवलेशंस विद मानस जी। आपको पता है कि कोई भी अगर युद्ध होता है या कोई भी रणनीति बनाई जाती है, उसमें शुरू के 24 से 48 घंटे माने जाते हैं बहुत क्रिटिकल होते हैं। हमने हाल ही में ऑपरेशन सिंदूर में भी देखा कि किस तरीके से एक महज 25 मिनट के ऑपरेशन इंडियन एयरफोर्स के, जो कि 3 से 4 दिन चला, के दौरान चला, उसने पाकिस्तान को घुटनों पे टेक दिया। सो इनिशियल 24-48 आवर्स बिकम वेरी क्रिटिकल। इसमें एक बहुत अहम भूमिका निभाई जाती है एविएशन के द्वारा। इंडियन आर्म फोर्सेस में एविएशन दो तरीके से देखा जाता है, देयर इज इंडियन एयरफोर्स एंड ऑफ कोर्स देयर इज एविएशन आउटसाइड इंडियन एयरफोर्स। नाउ प्राइमरीली नेवी के पास अपनी यूनिट होती है, आर्मी के पास अपनी यूनिट होती है। क्यों ये यूनिट्स अलग होती है, इनके क्या रोल होते हैं, ये सब जानने के लिए मेरे अंदर बहुत उत्सुकता थी। तो मैंने अनुरोध किया जनरल बी एस पवार सर को, एंड सर पहले आर्मी एविएशन के डायरेक्टर जनरल रह चुके हैं। ही रिटायर्ड एज अ कमांडेंट ऑफ द आर्टिलरी स्कूल देवलाली, एंड इट्स एन ऑनर टू हैव यू सर। थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर कमिंग ओवर।
Thank you, Manas. It's an honor to be here on this podcast on Army Aviation, which is my first love.
ग्रेट सर। सर लेकिन सबसे पहले योर लव इज़ वेरी एविडेंट। मैंने आपके कुछ पेपर्स पढ़े क्योंकि आपने बहुत पहले लिखे थे, एंड हाल ही वाले शायद मैं मिस कर गया, एंड आई एम सॉरी फॉर दैट। लेकिन आपका प्यार तो उसमें बहुत क्लियरली दिखता है। अब मैं ये जानना चाहता हूँ, सबसे पहला सवाल, आर्मी एविएशन की ज़रूरत क्यों पड़ी, खासकर जब इंडिया में ऑलरेडी एक एयरफोर्स है एंड नेवी की बिकॉज एंड कोस्ट गार्ड भी है। आर्मी एविएशन की अलग से ज़रूरत क्यों पड़ी? व्हाट वाज द रीज़न ऑफ द बर्थ ऑफ आर्मी एविएशन? जस्ट वी कैन टेल द ऑडियंस अ बिट अबाउट इट।
आर्मी एविएशन जो है, इसकी जो हिस्ट्री है, सबसे पहले ब्रिटिश आर्टिलरी होती थी। तो ये ब्रिटिश के टाइम में बिफोर 47 एयर ऑब्जर्वेशन पोस्ट होते थे। उनमें जो एयरक्राफ्ट फ्लाई करते थे वो ऑस्टर थे, ऑस्टर 3, ऑस्टर 5, ऑस्टर 9। बाद में जब 47 में पार्टीशन हुआ पाकिस्तान में, तो वो जो एविएशन एसेट्स थे एक स्क्वाड्रन के, वो दोनों साइड में डिवाइड हो गए। तो कुछ ऑस्टर मार्क 9 इंडिया के पास आ गए, कुछ उनके पास चले गए, सेम टाइप जो एयरक्राफ्ट थे। आफ्टर दैट दिस थिंग इवॉल्व्ड एरोपी, देन इट बिकेम इंडियनाइज्ड टोटली
जी।
और रेजिंग हुई, एरोपी स्क्वाड्रन्स बनी। 1970s तक ये फिक्स विंग फ्लाई करते थे
जी।
मैंने तो खुद ऑस्टर मार्क 9 फ्लाई किया है, लेकिन एक कृषक भी होता था जो भी यहाँ पे लोकल प्रोडक्शन ऑफ HAL। तो ये तो ब्रिटिश एयरक्राफ्ट था, कृषक वॉज जो HAL ने प्रोड्यूस किया था। बट ये दोनों काफ़ी देर सर्विस में रहे, बट ऐसा टाइम आया कि अभी फिक्स्ड विंग का फेज आउट होना शुरू हो गया
जी।
ऑस्टर मार्क 9 के तो स्पेयर पार्ट्स नहीं मिल रहे थे, तो उसको जाना ही था। कृषक भी स्लोली एंड ग्रेजुअली ओल्ड टेक्नोलॉजी होगी, तो पूरी आर्मी में ये सोचा कि अभी वी शुड गो टू हेलीकॉप्टर्स। उस वक्त वीवर जो एरोपी की यूनिट्स थी वो एयरफोर्स स्टेशन में बेस्ड होती थी
जी।
और वो एयरफोर्स यूनिट्स थी। पूरे जो इंजीनियरिंग स्टाफ था, जो टेक्निकल स्टाफ और जो लिमिटेड एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव स्टाफ पूरा एयरफोर्स का था। जैसे जो मेंटेन करते थे हमारे जहाज, वो सारे एयरफोर्स के थे। जो गाड़ियों का जो बाकी एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव स्टाफ होता था, जैसे सेट्स ऑपरेट करने या अपना ड्राइवर्स जो गाड़ियाँ ऑथराइज हैं, वो सब आर्मी के आर्टिलरी से होते थे। तो इट वाज, जो यूनिट का नाम होता था, जैसे मैं एग्जांपल देता हूँ, 2 एरोपी फ्लाइट ब्रैकेट में होता था एयरफोर्स, और हम सब एयरफोर्स स्टेशन पे लोकेटेड थे। अब वो हमारा टास्क सिर्फ ये था, ऑब्जर्वेशन ऑफ डायरेक्शन एंड ऑब्जर्वेशन ऑफ आर्टिलरी फायर।
ओके।
रेस्ट जो थे, जो हेलीकॉप्टर्स एयरफोर्स के, वो बाकी जो वीआईपी ड्यूटीज, लॉजिस्टिक्स के लिए सब वो करते थे। हमको वो परमिशन नहीं था। हमारे जो कमांडर्स थे, जो जैसे कोर कमांडर हो गया, डिवीजन कमांडर हो गया, ब्रिगेड कमांडर हो गया, उनको जहाज अगर चाहिए होता था टू मूव पहाड़ों में एक जगह से दूसरी जगह, तो उनको डिमांड डालनी पड़ती थी थ्रू एयरफोर्स। ये तो मैं एक एग्जांपल दे रहा हूँ।
राइट सर।
ये हमारे नेबर्स चाइना और पाकिस्तान दोनों के पास फुल फ्लेज्ड आर्मी एविएशन कोर ऑलरेडी था। यूएसए में एडवांस आर्मी भी था। बट यहाँ पर जब भी हमने चाहा कि भाई हमारा अपना एविएशन होना चाहिए, तो एयरफोर्स उसमें अटकन डालता था। और लाइक गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया थोड़ा सा कोई ऐसा स्टेप नहीं लिया कि डायरेक्शन दे दिया, ओके दिस विल बी फॉर्म। ये जाके फिर 80s में, और ये सबसे पहले रेस किया था जनरल चौधरी, 1963 जो चीफ होते थे, जेएन चौधरी साहब। फिर जनरल सुंदर जी के टाइम में जाके ये थोड़ा सा प्रेशर तेज हुआ, और जनरल सुंदर जी का जो गवर्नमेंट के साथ इंटरेक्शन था वो थोड़ा ज़्यादा क्लोज था।
राइट।
और ये मैं कहूँगा कि उनकी वजह से फिर ये आर्मी एविएशन पुश हुआ, और 1986 में आर्मी एविएशन कोर बना
जी।
एंड जो एयरफोर्स का कंट्रोल था वो खत्म हो गया। ये तो 1980 यहाँ तक इसका ज़रूरत ऐसे है। हमारी कैजुअलिटीज़ हैं, वो 12 बजे के बाद फ्लाई नहीं करते हाई एल्टीट्यूड में, हिल्स में। अगर आप एक कैजुअलिटी पड़ी है, 12 बजे के बाद उसको उठाने नहीं जाएंगे तो वो तो वहीं पे चित हो जाएगी। He won't survive the night. Secondly, हम तो ग्राउंड पे जो आर्मी है उसके साथ है, हमने भी आर्मी का यूनिफॉर्म पहना हुआ है। वो क्या करते हैं, कहाँ रहते हैं, हम भी करते हैं। तो अंडरस्टैंडिंग द वे ऑफ लाइफ आर्मी, द टैक्टिक्स, ऑपरेशनल नेसेसिटीज, only an army man who has been on the ground and understand. By sitting at an Air Force station miles away from reality, you do not know what is happening in the forward on the LAC or line of control, which only we as pilots who have lived there, served there, and also are flying know the realities. Also, the control, I mean, as a corps commander, जिसने लड़ाई लड़ी जाती है कोर कमांडर के लेवल पे। कोई भी बैटल जो हो
जी,
मेन दिस थिंग है तो कोर लेवल। अब वहाँ पे अगर कोर कमांडर के पास कोई एसेट्स ही नहीं है फ्लाइंग, हर बार उनको एयरफोर्स को पूछना पड़ता है कि भाई अभी ये दे दीजिए, ये दे दीजिए, तो वो भी काफ़ी वॉज अ बॉटलनेक, जिसको हमने आर्मी एविएशन के आने से क्लियर किया। लेकिन मैं आपको यहाँ पे बताना चाहूँगा, जो लेटर ये हैंडी टेकिंग ओवर का बना, जो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया, जहाँ पे उनके गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने साइन किया, उसमें बोला गया कि आर्मी एविएशन वही हेलीकॉप्टर्स या एयरक्राफ्ट ऑपरेट करेगी जो 5 टन के नीचे। ये जब आर्मी एविएशन बना, ये एक चार्टर था उसमें जो कि एग्री किया गया लेकिन फौज को चाहिए था, आर्मी को चाहिए था, तो हमने वो साइन कर दिया उस वक्त।
जो मिल रहा ले लो।
हमने ले लिया। हमारे पास आए चीता चेतक उस वक्त, और जो अटैक हेलीकॉप्टर्स उस वक्त होते थे वो होते थे हमारे चेतक हेलीकॉप्टर, उसमें टो मिसाइल लगी होती थी, वो थे हमारे अटैक हेलीकॉप्टर्स। मैं ये बात कर रहा हूँ जब ये सब कुछ हुआ। उसके बाद आए मी-25 और वो सब एयरफोर्स ने लिए, लेकिन आर्मी की बजट से पेमेंट होती थी।
तो मतलब आप कह रहे हैं कि जहाज एयरफोर्स को जाते थे, पर
बजट आर्मी की जो अटैक हेलीकॉप्टर्स, क्योंकि वो आर्मी के लिए खरीदे जा रहे हैं, वो केस ऐसे पुट अप होता था कि दीज आर रिक्वायर्ड फॉर सपोर्टिंग द आर्मी इन द टैक्टिकल बैटल एरिया, द अटैक हेलीकॉप्टर्स। सो बजट यूज्ड टू बी आर्मीज, बट दे विल नॉट हैंड। वो अटैक हेलीकॉप्टर्स की दूर की बात है, अभी तो हमने जो 3 टन वाले हेलीकॉप्टर्स थे चीता चेतक, वो मिले, जिसमें ऑब्जर्वेशन, फिर कैजुअलिटी इवैक्यूएशन, हाई ऑल्टीट्यूड ऑपरेशंस, सियाचिन में ये लाइफलाइन बनी रही। तो ये द रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ आर्मी एविएशन इज बेस्ड ऑन दिस, दैट द आर्मी हैज फाइनली कंट्रोल ऑफ एविएशन एसेट्स which they don't have to look on their back or the shoulder कि now I have to ask the Air Force. कारगिल में फर्स्ट 48 आवर्स के लिए हेलीकॉप्टर्स अवेलेबल नहीं थे, बिकॉज एयरफोर्स चीफ ने बोला कि जी मुझे तो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने कुछ बताया नहीं है, हालांकि जंग शुरू हो गई थी। तो ये सब चीज़ें हैं जिसकी वजह से, इसलिए हम अभी जो केस अभी तक चल रहा है कि सारे अटैक हेलीकॉप्टर्स आर्मी के नीचे होने चाहिए।
सर आपने काफ़ी कुछ ऐसी बातें कही जो मेरे लिए पहली बारी मैंने सुनी, एंड आई एम श्योर कई लोगों ने जो देख रहे होंगे उन्होंने भी पहली बारी सुनी होगी। नाउ लेट मी समराइज। आप बेसिकली ये कह रहे हैं कि आर्मी एओपी जो थी यूनिट, उसमें सिर्फ पायलट्स आर्मी यूनिफॉर्म में होते थे, एसेट एयरफोर्स का होता था जिसे आर्मी के बजट से खरीदा जाता था, जिसकी पूरी अवेलेबिलिटी और ऑपरेशनल रेडीनेस पे आपकी एयरफोर्स की बहुत डिपेंडेंस थी। आपने ये भी कहा कि कैजुअलिटीज हैं, रात को एयरफोर्स फ्लाई नहीं कर रही है से आफ्टर मिडनाइट एंड सो ऑन, सो दे वर कोऑर्डिनेशन प्रॉब्लम्स एंड टीम वाली बात नहीं थी। एम आई राइट इन अंडरस्टैंडिंग एंड समराइजिंग?
उनका था कि नाइट फ्लाइंग उस वक्त अवेलेबल नहीं थी फैसिलिटी,
तो वो एक टेक्निकल इशू था।
हाँ, टेक्निकल इशू ये था कि 12 बजे दोपहर को,
ओके, दोपहर की आप बात कर रही हैं। आई
हाई
थॉट
ऑल्टीट्यूड्स में वेदर चेंज होता है
जी।
सो देयर वाज अ एसओपी, हमारी भी है
जी
लेकिन हम वो सिर्फ उसके लिए नॉर्मल फ्लाइंग के लिए है
जी।
कैजुअलिटीज को हम नहीं छोड़ते, उसको तो जिस वक्त मर्जी जाना पड़े जाके हम ले आते हैं, वह एयरफोर्स नहीं करती थी।
ओके सर, ये उस टाइम की बात है क्योंकि आपने 1968 में आपने कमीशन लिया एंड 1973 में आपने अपनी विंग्स पहने, जहाँ तक 72 में एंड 86 में आर्मी एविएशन का फॉर्मल तरीके से स्टार्ट किया गया। उसके पहले एओपी होती थी, राइट? सो ये जो टीदिंग प्रॉब्लम्स थी कि कोऑर्डिनेशन को लेके, ये उस टाइम पे थे कि आज की डेट में भी ये हमारे इंस्टीट्यूट्स को प्लेग कर रही है?
जो ऑपरेशंस हैं उस वक्त तो ऑपरेशंस वो अंडर एयरफोर्स के नीचे थे। अगर जहाज क्लियर करना है तो एयरफोर्स करेगा, पूरा हमारा जो मेडिकल होता था पायलट्स का एयरफोर्स करती थी वहीं पे स्टेशन में। जो ब्रीफिंग है अगर आर्मी को चाहिए तो वो एयरफोर्स के थ्रू चैनल में जाता था, फिर वो अप्रूव करते थे सॉटी, और वो कहते थे कि 24 to 48 आवर्स पहले उनके पास डिमांड आनी चाहिए तब वो क्लियर होगा।
अच्छा,
अभी जो यूनिट्स हैं आर्मी एविएशन के बाद वो डायरेक्टली अंडर द कोर है, स्क्वाड्रन्स लोकेटेड हैं जहाँ कोर है
जी।
अब वो कोर और कोऑर्डिनेशन में तो वो जी ब्रांच कोऑर्डिनेट करता है, सारी फ्लाइंग प्लानिंग हो जाती है, सुबह टेक ऑफ कर जाती है जिसको जिसको जाना है।
एक इसमें ना एक मेरे को अभी समझ में नहीं आ रहा क्योंकि एयरफोर्स में भी पीपल आर इन यूनिफॉर्म, आर्मी में भी पीपल आर यूनिफॉर्म। मानते हैं आपके कई कोर्समेट्स एनडीए से आपकी तरह होंगे एंड फिर एकेडमी से होंगे, सो देयर इज ऑलवेज अ टॉक अबाउट द ब्रदरहुड, राइट? नाउ हियर यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द रियलिटी जो कि एकदम से काफ़ी विपरीत है उसके। वो ये कि यू नो देयर इज अ कोऑर्डिनेशन ऑन दिस बेसिक थिंग। कारगिल का आपने एक बहुत अच्छा एग्जांपल दिया कि द चीफ सेड कि मुझे पता नहीं, आई डोंट हैव ऑर्डर्स, बल्कि यहाँ पे जाने जा रही थी, युद्ध शुरू हो चुका था। तो आर वी अ यूनाइटेड फोर्स और वी आर अ डिसजॉइंटेड फोर्स?
Say, I'll tell you, as far as military operations is concerned, I always give example of 1971. Basically, Manik Shah was overall in charge. Whether people like it or not, he was overall.
Right.
He was dictating what is to be done, whether it's Air Force, Navy, or the Army. Because the operational responsibility by the Prime Minister then was given to him.
Correct.
He was the one who was called and told. And when he refused, he said that I can't go now. This is the worst weather to be going.
Correct.
So you give me 6 months, let me get ready, and then I'll deliver.
Correct.
So basically, जो coordination है, I am talking about the coordination. 71 was an example where all three services इकट्ठे आए, they worked. But Kargil, once the Air Force came in, then the coordination was never a problem. The problem is that the Air Force, जो assets हैं, even helicopters, the heavier ones, I mean, Chetak तो हमारे पास थे. They were from day one into
Correct.
it because they are located there.
Correct.
Leh में तो located है हमारी squadron.
Correct.
तो कोई problem नहीं है. But Air Force Me-17s only got into action after 48 hours.
Correct.
Even their fighters. Then also whether they will cross the LC or not cross LC, that is Air Force
Political
decision to be taken. Their army has got nothing to do. That between the government and them. But जो initial ये पीछे देखना पड़ता है कि भाई I need help,
Air support.
close air support in the tactical battle area. Why can't I have my own assets whom I deploy at the word go? And secondly, my assets are located near me, next to me, at the same location where I am located. As a forward division, the assets are located there. Our all bases are there. And during war, we move to forward bases. And we maintain aircraft there. We don't sit in our airfields and fight battles. That is okay for fighter aircraft, they have to do it. When they go for missions, they go from Halwara, from Adampur, from Hashimara, from these bases. But we have to move forward as part of the army. When Galwan happened, who was the first responders? The helicopters, Army Aviation. They were there. So this is it is a very much a requirement, and I think Air Force knows it. It's a requirement. They have realized now, and now we have ALHs which are 5.5 ton. We have got HAL Light Combat Helicopter which is 5.5 ton. So we have already gone into the thing well beyond 5 ton now.
सर यहाँ पे मेरे अंदर एक और दंड उठ रहा है. Right, there's a counter theory that or counter belief or knowledge, whatever you may call it, and इसमें मेरे को थोड़ा आप करेक्ट कीजिए सर. एक तरफ हम बोल रहे हैं कि दोपहर को 12 बजे के बाद फ्लाई नहीं हो रही, कारगिल के टाइम पे हमें एयर सपोर्ट नहीं मिल रहा है एंड सो ऑन. दूसरी तरफ हमारे कंट्री में बैटल थिएटर्स कमांड, इंटीग्रेटेड बैटल कमांड की बात हो रही है, थिएटर कमांड की बात हो रही है. स्वर्गीय CDS जो जनरल रावत है, ही वाज made CDS as the first CDS of the country to take charge and to put this into implementation, right? Now हम वहाँ पे integrated force की बात कर रहे हैं, jointness की बात कर रहे हैं, और दूसरी तरफ हम अगर हर फौज में, एंड मैंने आपके पेपर्स में भी जैसे आपने बोला कि नॉट ओनली आपके पास जहाज होने चाहिए, आपके पास उनके रिपेयर, आपके पास उनका पूरे in terms of training, simulators, आर्मी शुड हैव फुल wherewithal कि एक इंडिपेंडेंट तरीके से पूरी तरीके से काम कर पाए. हेयर ये पैराडॉक्स नहीं है ये कि एक तरफ हम बोल रहे हैं कि हमें जॉइंट फोर्स की तरह काम करना चाहिए, हमें इंटीग्रेटेड फोर्स की तरह काम करना चाहिए एंड हमें बैटल थिएटर्स बनाने चाहिए, और दूसरी तरफ वी आर स्टिल फाइटिंग कि 12 बजे के बाद जहाज मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा, राइट, जंग में मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा, जो कि मैं इस पेन से जब अवगत हो रहा हूँ अभी, तो इट इज़ वेरी पेनफुल. आई एम समवेयर ट्राइंग टू एम्पथाइज. आई कांट बिकॉज आई हैव नॉट वॉर्न दैट यूनिफॉर्म सर, बट these are too extreme. Where are we, and what is the way forward?
Let me first explain this 12 o'clock thing. 12
Ji.
o'clock is for normal flying.
Correct.
Any operations, there is no restriction.
Ji.
You fly at night, especially today. In today's environment, all helicopters, other than Chetak, they've also got night vision goggles.
Night vision की बात है.
The ALH is totally night operational, and we are flying them at night.
Correct.
Even dark nights you can fly it.
Correct.
The problem is that today the Me-17s and the Apaches, if tomorrow war starts, let's say something like of Sindoor, and it escalates, move into a bigger, wider area.
Correct.
These 22 Apache attack helicopters, which the Air Force has, will come to the army. It will be flown by their people, but there is no choice. These attack helicopters are meant for the army, to support the army in the tactical battle area. They can't be going like the fighter aircraft well beyond the sphere of influence. So they will be there as part of the army.
Ji.
Army is saying that why should these 22 be held? The command, control, location of all attack helicopters should be with the army. The Air Force does not need the attack helicopter. They need some helicopters for the search and rescue, for other missions, which is okay. But attack helicopters are meant to support the army in the tactical battle area. Today we have got 6. The Army Aviation has got 6. And Army Aviation today is capable of looking after itself, maintenance, everything. We do not depend on them. They only do, they have got, if tomorrow operations start, the lift, para-dropping and others, the requirement is of Mi-17s, which Air Force has. Now that coordination will start. It takes place. It happens. Training happens. But that is once, twice a year. But they must see, you must live it. So if they were part of the army, I'm living. Every day I can do the same thing. For example, the ALH today, in counter-insurgency operations, the squadron which is located in Srinagar, the squadron located in Leh, or squadron located in Misamari, in the east, everywhere there are CI ops. These chaps, you will want to move troops from one place to another. 4 people immediately, you can do it. I don't have to wait for 1 day or 7 hours or 6 hours that, okay, now we will send the helicopter, now you will do this. So that command control has to be, of these attack helicopters, has to be with the army. It must be the army channel where no time is wasted.
Sir,
so this is what it is.
Sure, sir. अगर ये सर इतना simple है, sorry sir, आप कुछ कह रहे थे?
No, I said this is where it stands.
जी.
So it's not some rocket science that why can't the Air Force should concentrate. There's a strategic. They got to reach well beyond. Sindoor has proved it. They've gone and struck their sites, the air bases right behind, airfields right behind. That's their job. That's the job of the Air Force. Air Force job is not I will fight the tactical battle for you.
सर अगर ये रॉकेट साइंस नहीं है और ये इतनी सिंपल बात है तो इसको इतने साल क्यों लग रहे हैं टू मूव एंड टू एक्चुअली मेक दिस चेंज? आई मीन जैसे आप लोग को समझा रहे हैं, इट इज सो बेसिक एंड आई एम अफ्रेड वी डोंट हैव somebody from the Air Force out here to take to understand a counter view which could be there, but is it a problem with the individuals in terms of control freak commanders, or is it a bigger problem beyond the military hierarchy?
The problem is the military hierarchy. No one wants to lose assets. No one wants to lose what he's already got. It's tough. In America, the government had to pass legislation to make sure that all attack helicopters, all other helicopters come part of the Army Aviation Corps.
Right.
In US, this happened. Here also, our government will have to take a stand. Why should Air Force be spending time with these attack helicopters, 22 of them, and some LCH, light combat helicopters? In the planning, Army is supposed to get 90 light combat helicopters in the coming years. Air Force is supposed to get 66. I still don't understand why those 66. For what? These are all for high altitude. Light combat helicopters meant to, it's a attack helicopter which operates compared to the Z10 and like I told you, at high altitudes.
Correct.
So, this is the thinking. But it is tough. And these turf battles are already taken place. In Pakistan, army controls everything. So there can be no turf battle.
Correct.
China is a communist country. So once the PLA is owned by the party. So once the thing is passed, it goes. In USA, they had to pass a legislation. In UK also there was a turf battle, but same thing, the government passed the orders and went. Here the government in 2023, when VK Singh was chief.
नहीं सर, ये 23 की बात नहीं, ये तो फिर पहले की है.
Sometime
going back to
earlier.
2008-9 की बात है, VK Singh साहब.
No, when he was a chief.
Right.
13 or 14. 2013.
Correct.
There's a letter which the government wrote at that time. VK Singh wrote to them, and that clearly specified the letter. It is there. I've seen it myself. That henceforth all attack helicopters will form part of Army.
ये गवर्नमेंट ने बोला था.
Letter है.
उसके बाद
letter was issued. But when the 22 Apaches were to come, they went to Air Force. So basically, government went back on its letter. There must have been a pressure. So what I'm saying is, these are turf battles, and the thing can only be sorted out at the level of the government. It can't be. If you say Army and Air Force will sort it out, no.
They'll not sort it out.
And let me tell you, even theatre commands, if it will happen, final order will have to be right from top.
Is theatre command is the right strategy and doctrine, sir?
I feel at this time, when we don't have the resources which we should have, it may be premature.
Okay. So for the benefit of audience, can you just explain very simply what is theatre command?
A theatre is a place where you have all access available to the theatre commander. He doesn't have to look to the Air Force or to Navy has got a separate theatre command.
Correct.
It is basically Air Force and Army.
Okay.
If it is for example, northern area, northern command and all this will be part of the Army. That's what's suggested. Theatre command. That an Army is supposed, in that theatre command, is supposed to have Air Force access, everything under that theatre commander.
Under the corps commander of the...
Not corps commander, this is theatre commander.
Okay. The 4-star general?
It's like
Okay.
A 3-star or 4-star, which they'll decide.
Right.
But chief will have no role to play. He'll be the one fighting the war.
Okay.
Corps commanders are under him. He's the theatre commander.
Yes.
So theatre commanders are going to be 3 or 4, would be also 4-star. And that theatre, they are responsible for the operations totally. And the chiefs are meant to lay down the policy and other things. And that's what the theatre command, when the paper came, it said so. So this is the theatre command's organization which has been suggested. But if that's what the Air Force says, if all my assets are divided into 3 theatre commands, 10 squadrons here, 5 squadrons there, and this squadron is there, and I'm told that I'll be looking after air defense, the whole air defense coordination there. So there is I also feel it needs time.
Okay. Sir, इसमें आपने बताया कि northern is like with the army, that was...
northern means because the border, which is a dominant force in our northern borders and eastern borders. It's all army based. You have assets located, Hashimara, Bagdogra, Age.
Sir, but अगर उस हिसाब से देखा जाए, and sorry, if I'm putting it in this manner.
These are terrain-based commands.
Correct. अब वेस्ट में भी चाहे हम LOC देखें चाहे हम LAC देखें, दोनों तरफ आर्मी की डिप्लॉयमेंट्स हैं, राइट? अब look at it from the lens of an blue uniformed person, right? कि आप बोल रहे हो कि चॉपर्स भी हमको दे दो, थिएटर कमांड में LOC, LAC, वेस्ट नॉर्थ भी आर्मी के पास आना चाहिए, नेवी के पास तो अपनी कमांड है. So, is it not fair that Air Force will say, then what is my role?
Air Force will also have a theatre command, na?
Okay.
They will also have a theatre command.
Commanding what?
But it's basically, what they're suggesting as of now is all air defense.
Okay.
It's entire, this thing, is they'll also have 4-star general and air defense, coordinating the entire air defense, which includes, when you say air defense, it also includes your fighter aircraft. They're also part of air defense. So they have this thing. But the Air Force is objecting to this distribution of air assets, which I feel as of now, it's a correct argument. When you have 31 squadrons against 42 and you distribute them, then where's the flexibility available?
So resource crunch.
So what the Air Force is saying is, wherever the requirement is there, we'll move the assets. Because air assets can be moved in no time.
Correct.
They don't need movement like the army assets are required. So from that point of view, I feel theatre commands may Yes, it's a. I feel it's a little premature. Requirement is there, but possibly when we have enough resources, even in terms of air defense, today
So,
we don't have.
so do we have enough resources in army alone कि आर्मी के लिए थिएटर कमांड वैलिड होता है? I mean ये वैसे बड़ा अटपटा सवाल है कि थिएटर कमांड विदाउट ज्वाइंटनेस perhaps may not make sense, but एयरफोर्स के पास
When I
resources
say
कम है.
army,
Yes, sir.
when you have a theater command based on the army's dominance, it doesn't only have army, na. It'll have all other elements of the air force and army both. But what they are suggesting, what I have heard so far and read so far, is where army is more. I would say it's army heavy or army centric. For example, take our northern borders.
Right.
It's all their deployment is all army based. It's only army centric. Okay, western borders there are no borders. It's an international border.
IB.
Only western on the IB. No IB. It can be even the Air Force or anyone. But basically, the northern and the eastern are both dominated, army dominated. So when they create a command, theater command, it will be one theater command. They are talking of one theater command for the Navy. Army may have two theater commands at best, and Air Force one theater command, which is air defense.
So 4.
This is what they're, as of now, they're talking of. But it is still, debate is going on. And
But so beyond army and एयरफोर्स अगर हम देखें थिएटर कमांड्स की इंडिया में ज़रूरत भी है एज अ डिफेंस फोर्स बिकॉज वी आर नॉट फाइटिंग बैटल्स. हम लोग दूसरे कंट्रीज में जाके कोई जंग नहीं लड़ रहे. हमने कहीं डिप्लॉयमेंट नहीं करनी और इतिहास में भी हमने ऐसी कोई की नहीं हुई है unless as a UN peacekeeping force. Is it relevant to us?
when they're saying theater commands in Indian context, they're talking of economy of effort. Utilization, the correct utilization of resources, its impact. So that's what they are talking of. But if you ask my personal view, I don't think so. I mean, the Indian armed forces have delivered whenever required without theater commands. We have delivered in every war, whether it was 71, there were no theater commands. Still we delivered. I mean, there was nothing. In Kargil also, it was basically Air Force and Army together. And the Navy did a job there. Sindoor also. It was again Army and Navy together.
Air Force.
Army and Air Force. So, and you have 31 squadrons against, authorized 42. You don't have the resources. So, how are you going to, if the flexibility of allotting the resources which Air Force has today, they do it. That I need so much of effort here, I need so much effort here. They give the effort. They are the ones who provide the support. So, I find it's premature as of now.
So, but इसमें आपने ना you spoke about one thing. आपने बोला कि in terms of economies of scale and all, and that's a very relevant point. अगर आप किसी
economy of effort, yes, I agree.
Economy of effort की बात है. अब आपने अपाचे की बात की. एयरफोर्स ने 22 खरीदे, आर्मी ने 6 खरीदे, राइट? एंड जहाँ तक मैंने पढ़ा इस बारे में, there was a huge cost escalation, and cost escalation इसलिए नहीं हुई कि कोई configuration अलग से होगी, right? But typically because it had to be reinvent the wheel, फिर से वही deployment, वही base पे deployment, उसके लिए पूरी facilities खड़ी करना, and decision making में जो इतना time लगा, तो as an exchequer, when I look at it, कि फौज में 2 respected हमारे units हैं, under the Indian Armed Forces, like Indian Army and Air Force, लेकिन जस्ट क्योंकि टर्फ पकड़ के रहना है तो उसकी वजह से there's a big loss to the exchequer.
It is. These are turf wars. I 100% agree with you. If it is consolidated with one service operations, it'll save you so much of cost. It'll save the cost to the Air Force. They can use that somewhere else. And Army will have to use and develop the infrastructure and the wherewithal to undertake, looking after these assets which come to you.
Sir, if you were given a choice, अगर आपको बोला जाए कि you find the most optimum way of on the cost efficiencies also, क्योंकि हाँ मतलब हमारे यहाँ पे बड़ी अनफॉर्चुनेट बात है, लेकिन बड़ी रो रो के डिफेंस के लिए वैसे ही पैसे निकलते हैं गवर्नमेंट से. Our defense budgets are till last year it was at par with the 1962 figures in terms of the percentage of GDP, right? कि कॉस्ट एफिशिएंसी भी मिल जाए लेकिन ऑपरेशनल इफेक्टिवनेस भी मिले, राइट? व्हाट इज द वे फॉरवर्ड दैट यू थिंक शुड बी देयर?
See, when I talk of aviation assets, I have no doubt that transport and fighter and heavy transport helicopters like the Chinooks, it should remain with the Air Force.
Heavy ones.
Heavy ones, because those are strategic. I mean,
Airlift
that chap can carry 53 troops. So, those are strategic assets.
Utna coordination is not a problem at that scale.
That's not a problem.
Okay.
And that is their assets. I feel that all other helicopters, attack as well as medium lift, should come to the
Medium lift जब आप बोल रहे हैं sir, you're talking about the
Mi-17s. Should come to the Army Aviation Corps. Now, you will ask me, how will you maintain such a large fleet, 200 Mi-17s, V5s and others? The Air Force has, for their repairs and for their, the cycle which they have to go through, repairs, they have BRDs, base repair depots, which are very well organized. They can do overall, can do the inspections, everything. We don't have that. But then, if they're transferred and this whole thing, then those assets which look after the Mi-17s will also have to come to the army. It can't be, I will give you the helicopter, now you look after yourself. But they have a support system.
Support आने चाहिए, spares आने चाहिए,
Everything.
knowledge आनी चाहिए.
They have a support system, which is there. That support system. What I'm saying is, let the army look after, let them have the helicopters and let them do their winter stocking, whatever we want to do in operations, the troop dropment, lifting, moving from place A to B, across mountains. Let the army handle it. You do the strategic tasks of, like you did in Op Sindhu.
सर यहाँ पे थोड़ा समझिएगा डिमार्केशन लाइन कहाँ पे होना चाहिए, बिकॉज नाउ वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट, आपने बोला चलो एक उसमें किसी ने एक सेकंड के लिए मान लिया चलो दे देते हैं, चॉपर्स हो जाते हैं, फाइन, संधि हो गई, नो प्रॉब्लम, लेट्स लीव द टर्फ्स. देन द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज इन द मॉडर्न कंटेक्स्ट, वॉर्स आज की डेट में ड्रोन से लड़ी जा रही है, मिसाइल से लड़ी जा रही है, राइट? यूएवीज हैं. अब उस टैक्टिकल बात से अगर देखी जाए तो फिर आपका ये भी पॉइंट आ सकता है, आपका मीन्स आर्मी का, विच कुड बी राइट एंड विच कुड बी अगेन अ टफ वॉर, आई डोंट नो, कि भाई मेरे को ग्राउंड सपोर्ट के लिए यूएवीज चाहिए तो यूएवी मेरे पास आने चाहिए, मेरे को फर्स्ट लाइन ऑफ डिफेंस के लिए ड्रोन्स चाहिए, मेरे को आर्टिलरी को सपोर्ट करना है, एयर डिफेंस को करना है. लाइन ऑफ डिमार्केशन कहाँ पे आने, कब इट इज फाइनली की, एंड इनफैक्ट जस्ट फॉर द बेनिफिट ऑफ ऑडियंस ऑल्सो, कि टुडे देर आर मल्टीपल लेयर्स ऑफ एयर डिफेंस, राइट? आर्मी का रोल कहाँ से स्टार्ट होता है, कहाँ पे खत्म होता है? जहाँ तक मैंने पढ़ा L-20 गन्स जैसे हैं आपकी आर्मी ने यूज़ की थी, S-400 इज एयरफोर्स के डिप्लॉयमेंट्स, राइट? सो इन टर्म्स ऑफ टेक्निकल डेफिनेशन, किस पॉइंट में आर्मी का रोल खत्म होता है एयर डिफेंस में और कहाँ से एयरफोर्स का शुरू होता है, और आपके हिसाब से कहाँ तक होना चाहिए?
See, overall air defense responsibility is Air Force,
जी,
not Army.
ओके,
Overall.
जी,
When we talk of air defense of the Army, it's localized. The operational command headquarters, some important assets like your guns, like or mobile column, there's like an armored div moving. Those localized, that will be provided by Air Defense Army. But overall air defense, where like you said S-400 and others, which will cover VAs and VPs, like capital, our oil installations,
correct,
energy centers,
correct.
This will all be covered by, Army has no business there. Neither we can, nor we have the resources. This will all be with the Air Force. We are only short this thing to get hold of some UAVs coming. Like you made a very good point. Ukraine has shown, Israel, Iran, the conflict has shown, and our Op Sindhu has shown missiles, fighter aircraft, and drones. But we are talking of drones which can go. They'll be controlled by the the troops or the assets which are not behind. Not like Air Force is not going to have those smaller drones or killer drones. They're going to operate drones like this. Now we are getting these Reapers and these Herons and all, which have got fantastic amount of endurance and targeting. The ones you're talking of, which have been targeting, the smaller ones like Harpy, which are fire and forget, or they
Correct.
just go and home onto the target and destroy themselves on it, and accurately, like what is Iran producing, what Turkey is producing. Bakhtiar of Turkey and Iran's, I'm forgetting the name now. They are producing cheap drones in thousands. Those can go. I mean, once they've taken off, that is the end of that drone. But the assets I am talking of is like this Reaper now coming, 15 to the Navy, 8 each to Army and Air Force. Now this is a hunter-killer big drone which can remain for 36 to 40 hours, 48 hours in the air.
This should be with Air Force, Army.
Air Force is getting 8. Now see the distribution. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Navy needs it. Why? Look at this fear of, they have to operate in the British. How are you going to get information?
Correct.
This is what will give you information.
Right.
Now what has happened is 31 contracts has been signed recently. Okay. The MQ-9 Reaper.
Right.
Or it's called Predator.
Predator drones. US carry.
8 is going to Air Force, 8 to Army, and 15 to Navy. Now we have distributed 31. This is a major asset of a drone, a UAV, which is a killer drone. But we have put it into 3 places. So when I say unity of effort and concentration of effort, so Navy is a separate issue. It's basically turf is between Air Force and Army. So we are getting 8 each.
Navy is happy with the seas, that way.
Why does Navy have their own aircraft carrier? Why do they have their own fighter aircraft? Air Force can't go there. They operate way beyond the reach of any Air Force from any their base.
Correct, sir. वो तो एक requirement in terms of training and everything.
Navy's concept of operations is totally different from Air Force and this. See, the basic concept of operations, Air Force is in support of the Army operation on the ground. Their strategic this thing is what they did in Snoot.
Right.
That is also part of operations. Where they go, attack, get their airfields out of action so that no fighters can take off. They destroy them, put them out of service for 16 hours, 24 hours, whatever, which gives time for the land forces to move ahead. So these are coordinated. Now I've given you an example. 31 Reapers are coming, they've been distributed. So I'm again highlighting my point which I said, we are distributing resources.
So this is the right way to go. कि आपने 31 के लिए 31 you have bought and you have because procured 31. Now you are distributing. So at least the economies of scale is there, efficiencies are brought in.
Everyone has got. He's got 8. He's got 8. But if you need to operate them together, okay. After all, the common goal of intelligence gathering (ISR) or when you want to target, it has to be together. So when you say that. There have been discussion that such drones, should the Army have it or should the Air Force have it? That is also going on. There is a discussion going on.
So, उसमें sir, that's what I wanted to understand. Coming back to my question, कि technical definition अगर मैं बोलूँ, कि say इतनी range के drones Army के पास होने चाहिए और इतनी के beyond, या फिर इतनी height के beyond Air Force को, is there a demarcation, clear demarcation?
There is no demarcation. What we have, they have also got. What they have got, we have also got. For example, Herons, Searcher, and now MQ. These are the
big ones,
bigger assets.
Right.
UAVs. Others, just the killer drones they can be with every unit would like to have. Like infantry battalions have got these drones. They are also authorized. Drones, surveillance drones over the hill. They can launch from there. He can carry in his backpack and launch. They're already coming. It's already there in service with the infantry units.
There's a lot of duplication over there, sir. Just because of a turf war.
There is duplication. In drones also there's duplication going on.
मतलब
everyone wants. Air Force has also got these drones. So, there is...
And are they still taking...
I retired now for 18 years back.
Yeah.
But now I feel, this... It's too much of spread of these assets, different. Everyone wants to have these assets. There is a need to sit down and unify, have this unify. That maybe theater commands will say, okay, all these big drones will go to the Air Force,
Sir,
the ones beyond this,
sir, it's
or
good.
something like
Sir,
this.
it's good to admit it at the hindsight, but 18 years back, were you okay with that?
18 years back, we were fighting to. I mean, we had artillery. See, 18 years back, artillery had the drones. Okay, it's only last 4 years that the drones have got within the army shifted from artillery to Army Aviation.
Army Aviation.
Why? Because the drones were operating from Army Aviation bases because of the short airfields and all the infrastructure being available there.
Right, sir.
So they found that it's duplication going on. They have to also come there. So the Vipin Rawat's time, they transferred these drones to the Army Aviation.
सर पर्टिनेंट क्वेश्चन आया. आर्मी बोलती है कि मेरे को आप अटैक हेलीकॉप्टर्स दे दो बिकॉज अल्टीमेटली अटैक हेलीकॉप्टर्स हेल्प फॉर द टैक्टिकल बैटल्स इन द टैंक बैटल्स. Apache is an anti-tank machine.
Apache is anti-tank. LCH will be for troops.
LCH will be for
everyone.
For everyone, but typically again for where maneuverability is required high altitude. क्योंकि Apache, sir, correct me if I'm wrong. Apache तो आपका एक medium combat helicopter के range में आ गया. Maybe beyond a certain altitude it will have its limitations. Is that right?
Yes. Apache is heavy attack helicopter.
Correct.
It's one of the most modern attack helicopters in the world today. It's the sensors, the weapon system that has got, no one else has got.
Correct.
But it has limitations to operate in high altitude.
16,000 की फीट के ऊपर प्रॉब्लम है.
16,000 क्या? As per me, it shouldn't be able to operate beyond 12,000 feet. The way it should be operating. Basically, Apaches are meant to operate along strike formations.
Correct.
3 strike formations.
Correct.
They are supposed to be with them.
Correct.
That is their role. They'll be give flank protection. They can give cover to them, fire cover. They've got all the facilities. They've got the capability. They are not meant for high altitudes. If someone says I'll put Apaches in altitude, I think he needs to get himself checked.
But sir, इसमें my question which I wanted to complete was कि हम लड़ रहे हैं एयर एसेट्स के टफ के ऊपर, राइट? चॉपर्स की बात कर रहे हैं हम, अपाचेस की एंड सो ऑन. लेकिन द वे टेक्नोलॉजी हैज इवॉल्व्ड, ऐसे भी आवाज़ें हैं कि जो कहती हैं कि ना टैंक की ज़रूरत पड़ने वाली है आने वाले टाइम पे, तो अब टैंक को बचाने के लिए जो हम अपाचे के लिए भी फाइट कर रहे हैं या हेलीकॉप्टर्स की फाइट कर रहे हैं, ये एक दिस इज ऑब्सोलीट. हाउ डू यू सी मॉडर्न वॉरफेयर, व्हाट इंडिया शुड बी डूइंग with the way the technology is changing to adapt to the new warfare technology, and where does the role and relevance of a attack helicopter lies in that case? क्योंकि अगर टैंक ही नहीं है मेरे पास, right, then why do I need a attack helicopter, and why do I need such expensive machines जब मेरा एक सस्ते ड्रोन से काम हो रहा है? We have seen that in Ukraine war. So are we fighting a battle or a turf which technology has already made obsolete?
Let me give you the example of Ukraine war का example.
जी.
जो drones, जो missiles और जो aircraft attacks है, basically वो concentrated हैं कहाँ पे? Energy centers, cities, where they think dumps are there, ammunition dumps, missile centers. Those are the places being targeted. How is Russia ने कैसे इतना एरिया कैप्चर किया है? वो डॉनबास और वो जो पूरा एम वो है कि मैं क्रीमिया के साथ ये सब मिला दूं.
करेक्ट.
ये लाइन सेइंग ये रशियन स्पीकिंग एरिया है. उसके लिए उसको टैंक भी चाहिए जो वो कैप्चर कर रहा है. उसको बंदे, इन्फेंट्री के बंदे चाहिए who have to occupy boots on the ground. He also needs helicopters for that operation. Yes, the helicopters are vulnerable in such areas. They are vulnerable even in normal TBA. But then you have to change your tactics. You have to evolve new tactics to ensure that the maximum safety, you're able to operate without losing too many of them. Unlike what Americans did in Iraq War, if you see the first Iraq War, 100 Apaches moving together like that.
Sir, is that a wise thing to do?
No, and how many got shot?
36.
30% of them got shot by Iraqis. So helicopters don't operate like that.
ये तो शोबाजी थी
They operate as part of all arms team.
Right.
जिसमें tanks will be there, infantry will be there, choppers will be there, everyone will be there. And tactical battle area is a very congested area. You know, the biggest problem in a tactical team, when you say TBA, it's a huge area, but it's very congested. You got artillery firing there, you got drones operating there, you got helicopters operating there, you got infantry moving all over the place, you got tanks operating there. And there the airspace management is one of the biggest challenges. For example, अभी जो temporary arrangements है, if I'm correct, it is 200 feet and below is with the army airspace management.
200 feet के नीचे आर्मी की
जब actual operations are going on TB.
Okay.
Beyond that is with the Air Force. So you know this is a arrangement, but this is it's very complex. It's not that simple. How will you manage the airspace in this such a complex area? It's a very important question which needs to be addressed. I haven't got any satisfactory answer. How are we going to manage the airspace in this tactical battle area? I'm not talking of other places.
कहना आसान है कि 200 फीट एंड 200 फीट के नीचे
Tactical battle area. How we are going to manage the airspace?
मैं बड़ा अगर सिंपल एग्जांपल दूं, हमसे एक सिटी का ट्रैफिक तो मैनेज होता नहीं है. एंड देन वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट जहाँ पे गन्स और फायरिंग हो रही है.
Guns are opening up. Air defense guns are there. Artillery guns are opening up. Missiles are getting fired there. Everything in this is tactical battle area. And ऊपर से Air Force ने आना है. They are going to fly, do their missions. बीच में हमारी मिसाइल जा रही है तो अपने ही जहाज को लगा देगी. So this is the airspace management is a very, very complex issue. You know, no one seems to discuss this. Generally क्या होता है, everything is discussed. Airspace management no one talking about. And especially when it comes to the tactical battle area. This is a very important.
Everybody is talking कि मैं गाड़ी खरीद लेता हूँ, SUV खरीद लेता हूँ, स्पोर्ट्स कार भी खरीद लेता हूँ, लेकिन चलानी कहाँ है, रेड लाइट कहाँ लगानी है, ट्रैफिक कैसे मैनेजमेंट करना है, nobody is talking about.
Very, very important aspect of future war fighting. And I 100% agree with you. The lessons of Ukraine and Israel. You see, when you talk of Israel, Iran, there has been no occupation of territory. I want to tell all the जो viewers सुन रहे हैं, हिंदुस्तान के चारों तरफ प्रॉब्लम एरिया है. एक तरफ पाकिस्तान है, एक तरफ चाइना. पाकिस्तान से हम 4 लड़ाइयाँ लड़ चुके हैं. 47, 65, 71, Kargil. And Sindoor, you can make it 5th.
ऐसे तो बहुत बैटल चल ही रहे हैं सर.
ठीक है. With China 62, and we are standoffs हुए हैं. अभी गलवान was the latest. उसके पहले 2 और हो चुके हैं.
67 में हुआ था.
उनके साथ 2 और हो चुके हैं. बट चाइना के साथ भी स्टूड ग्राउंड. अब ये जो इन्वायरमेंट है इधर और काउंटर इंसर्जेंसी ऑपरेशंस भी हैं. सो हमारी जो सिचुएशन है वो हम कंपेयर नहीं कर सकते. अब लोग बोल रहे हैं या यूक्रेन रशिया वॉर. अब सी ऑन द ग्राउंड रियलिटी आप देखिए. ग्राउंड रियलिटी क्या है? हमारे डिप्लॉयड एंड ट्रूप्स, thousands of troops are deployed on the line of actual control because you can't leave it. Thousands of troops are deployed on line of control against Pakistan. You can't leave it. अब सियाचिन छोड़ के वापस आ जाओगे? You can't. Because इतनी मुश्किल से आप पहुंचे उधर. 22,000 feet पे लोग रह रहे हैं. 21,300 feet these helicopters are landing in Siachen. And this is all army, this thing, because it is occupied by the army. So these are the difficulties, and these are the, I would say, things which are different from when people talk of Ukraine, Russia, they talk of Iran, Israel. Yeah, this is we live in a different environment, and we must realize the actualities on the ground. That how are we going to fight the war? हमारे तो पक्का टेरिटरी विल गेट इन्वॉल्व इन एनी वॉर विद पाकिस्तान एंड चाइना. Sindoor is, I mean, I don't consider Sindoor is different. It was a message to be sent to someone. We sent a message via Sindoor.
सर आपने टेरेन की बात की एंड दैट्स वेयर आई वांटेड टू गेट एजुकेटेड ऑन दैट सब्जेक्ट. हाई ऑल्टीट्यूड फ्लाइंग में क्या चैलेंजेस आते हैं और हमारी टेरेन कंट्री की बिकॉज यू वुड हैव फ्लोन अक्रॉस द कंट्री राइट. इफ यू कैन जस्ट शेयर कि पहाड़ों में नॉर्थ ईस्ट में क्या चैलेंजेस आते हैं, वेस्टर्न सेक्टर में क्या चैलेंज आते हैं, नॉर्थ में क्या आते हैं, स्पेशली विद रिस्पेक्ट टू फ्लाइंग. व्हाट आर द रिस्क?
Let me give you the terrain, this thing. वेस्टर्न सेक्टर में दो है. एक तो डेजर्ट्स है
जी.
वहाँ पे टेम्परेचर्स आर वेरी हाई. यू हैव टू ऑपरेट, आपको फ्लाई करना पड़ता है 50 डिग्रीज टेम्परेचर में भी, 48 डिग्रीज, 50 डिग्रीज. सो मशीन के लिए दैट इज द एक्सट्रीम ऑन द हॉटर साइड. जब आप फ्लाई करते हो सियाचिन में -30 डिग्रीज, -40 डिग्रीज में वो मशीन को फ्लाई करना है. अब आप रेंज देख लो, वही मशीन है, -40 से लेके +50 तक उसको ऑपरेट करना है. Nowhere in the world this happens. कहीं नहीं, excepting in this country. इसीलिए जब हम ट्रायल करते हैं वो मशीन का, अगर वो उसने इंडिया में ट्रायल हो गया उसका, तो वो कहीं कोई भी उसको आराम से खरीद सकता है. हेलीकॉप्टर हो, टैंक हो, कुछ भी. सो टेरेन वाइज वी आर ऑपरेटिंग इन टेरेन विच इज इन नॉर्थ ईस्ट. आपने नॉर्थ ईस्ट बोला, नॉर्थ ईस्ट में हिल्स हैं, हाई ऑल्टीट्यूड नहीं है, बट जंगल्स. You're operating over jungles, huge dense jungles के ऊपर आप ऑपरेट करते हैं in northeast. So that's a different environment altogether. And high altitude mountains, because most of our border with China is all high altitude or the mountains.
सर ये फ्लोन इन सियाचिन राइट?
Yes.
थोड़ी सर वहाँ के बारे में बताएंगे कि वहाँ पे फ्लाइंग करते टाइम एज अ पायलट हाउ इज इट डिफरेंट and how difficult it is?
There are 2-3 things. Entire perception changes when you're flying in Siachen. एक तो पूरा white है, आपके पास reference marks. When you're flying, अगर जहाज में normally you don't do instrument, you do visual flying.
Okay.
तो वहाँ visual flying में आपके पास पूरा, अगर आपको सिर्फ white ही नजर आ रहा है तो आपके पास reference point कोई नहीं होता.
मतलब रेफरेंस पॉइंट ये समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कि आसमान कहाँ है और जमीन.
हाँ, ये मिक्सअप वाइट आउट इसलिए होता है व्हेन पीपल दिस रेफरेंस पॉइंट डिसअपीयर्स.
तो आपको लग रहा है कि आप आसमान में चल रहे हो लेकिन हो सकता है पहाड़ पर.
जब आप इतनी हाइट पे फ्लाई कर रहे हो
जी,
एट 16,000 17,000 फीट, द परफॉर्मेंस ऑफ द हेलीकॉप्टर गोज डाउन एज बिकॉज द एयर बिकम्स रेयरर, डेंसिटी डिक्रीजेस, डेंसिटी ऑल्टीट्यूड, एंड देयरफॉर द परफॉर्मेंस ऑफ द हेलीकॉप्टर गोज डाउन. Every machine. I'm talking of helicopter because helicopters got to operate there. Man is also a machine. His performance goes down. That is why you move every 3 months. You change the people who are sitting on top.
Correct.
They have to be brought down inside the next lot.
जी.
So while it is a challenge to fly in an area like Siachen, anyone who's flown in Siachen, he's a race flyer because you're landing on matchbox size helipads, and the weather can change. Winds are strong, and while you're flying from one valley, you don't know what's the weather in the next one. It can get covered. So it's a big challenge to fly in Siachen, because Siachen is something. It's okay to fly in Sikkim. I would say that is cakewalk than what you're flying in Siachen. Awareness, everything is, and oxygen requirement of the pilots. You have the oxygen mask, you have the oxygen. You have to be, when you're flying above 12,000 feet there, you need continuously to take in oxygen.
So क्या wind speed होती है वहाँ पे आपकी सियाचिन में, which is good enough? मतलब
it depends, after 12 o'clock, the wind speed pick up, the weather packs up. There, this thing of 12 o'clock is relevant unless it's a casualty evacuation or operations. Very relevant. Because you will lose a helicopter in those.
Sir, there are other challenges which I read about, and आप अगर उसके बारे में बताएं कि shoulder fired missiles, man pads, how as a helicopter pilot, क्योंकि ये बहुत बड़ा threat है. इनफैक्ट कारगिल में भी Mi-17s जो गिराए गए थे, स्टिंगर से इन्हें से गिराए गए थे. How do you manage threats like this when you're flying as a soldier, as an aviator? Man pads, shoulder fired missiles, इनसे आप कैसे बचते हैं?
See, the concept of operations in a tactical battle areas, you fly nap of the earth, NOE.
Sir, sorry, And
नैप ऑफ द अर्थ.
okay,
वो फ्लाइंग का मतलब ये होता है कि आप अर्थ नीचे ग्राउंड फीचर्स के साथ साथ फ्लाई करते हैं.
all right,
It is almost as if you're touching the ground.
जी,
That is nap of the earth. You won't get above 50 feet. It'll be 50 feet and below. Where it is very difficult for a man pack, this thing also, to get time to fire at you. The reaction time reduces. Because अगर आप नीचे आ रहे हो तो he'll suddenly see you.
correct. So that's the only way to.
So those are the tactics to avoid this.
Okay.
This thing. Also, you have your own surveillance equipment or surveillance weapons should be able to also spot these chaps and get rid of them. But as far as helicopters are concerned, they are a big threat in the tactical battle area, and the only way to avoid them is your tactics. What I told you, nap of the earth. And you have today you are having stealth, helicopters which are like the LCH is also has stealth. It has also reflectors where it can you have flares. Sometimes you have to use the flares behind to put the missile off. So those are fired. All those
Magnesium flares के बाद
this thing is available in our ALH,
Correct.
in the LCH, in all these latest helicopters.
सर साउंड सिग्नेचर कम कर, क्योंकि अगेन आपने ये जो एयर स्पेस मैनेजमेंट की बात कर रहे थे, आप बोल रहे थे इतना क्योटिक होता है, राइट, इतनी आवाज़ होती है, तो हेलीकॉप्टर की तो आवाज़ दूर से आ रही है, राइट. एक साउंड सिग्नेचर कम करने के लिए, हेलीकॉप्टर की आवाज़ को दबाने के लिए, व्हाट आर द टैक्टिक्स दैट आर यूज्ड?
See, when we say stealth, stealth means the signatures, what he is emitting, the sound, everything gets reduced in the stealth design. Everything. And the LCH has the stealth design. It's a signature. That is why it has been made tandem. The
Correct.
cockpit is one behind the other, so the body becomes
sleeker.
And then you have sensors to detect, give you early warning. All those are there on this. It's a state-of-art helicopter.
You actually feel, sir, we have done a very good job. HAL ने बहुत
Yes, LCH is a very good job. It's one of the attack helicopters which is performing, will perform. It's already, we have 5.
Correct.
Air Force has 10.
Correct.
And more will come in. Is capable, high altitude capability is excellent. And I think it will surpass the Z10 which Pakistan has got from China, 30 of them. I don't know how many have come, but 30 they're supposed to get.
So I was coming to that, sir, on the challenge that and our readiness with China. China ने ऑफ लेटली तिब्बत में काफ़ी अपने बेसिस बनाए. They have reinforced their runways and so on. And they have upgraded Z10 and Z9 was a previous model. उनकी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कैपेबिलिटी हमसे बहुत ज़्यादा आगे है. Correct me if I'm wrong, sir. They can churn out more number of aircrafts. They have a fatter checkbook. How and what, with respect to Army Aviation, what strategy we should have, a combination of LCH and an Apache or whatever, right, to counter the threat coming from China? And where do we ace? क्योंकि उनकी मशीन, हमारे पास Apache है, उनके पास Z10 है. now मान लेते हैं कि say if you have a better equipment, perhaps they have bigger numbers. So what is going to be the decisive factor? How we should mitigate the China risk from pure play the aviation, Army Aviation standpoint?
See, Army Aviation has an advantage. We are located right where the battle scenes are, operational areas are. For example, take Leh, Partapur. Partapur is right next to Siachen base. I mean, I think it takes just 15 minutes flying time or 20 minutes flying time from Partapur to go to this place. What I'm saying is, today we have helicopters which are capable of operating high altitude and at maximum efficiency, but not Apache. Apache cannot operate at high altitude. And it is, I am giving a false hope to someone saying that Apaches will operate. Apache's job is operating in the plains and the deserts. And their main task is support of the strike formations, which will operate in deserts and this. As far as mountains is concerned, we have developed the light combat helicopter. That's the best helicopter that you have, which can operate as of today and can counter the Z10 of the Chinese.
Sir, even say एंड सिर्फ Z10 के मुकाबले में आप बोल रहे हैं कि इवन इफ यू कंपेयर विद द लाइक्स ऑफ यूरोकॉप्टर, टाइगर, the other such helicopters, that LCH really stands out.
Their capability of high altitudes is
Unmatched.
doubt. They can't match this.
Okay.
What LCH has been designed for high altitude. Those guys are not.
But
Their wars are not fought in high altitude.
sir, क्या
When you say Huey Cobra,
Yeah.
see, I'm talking about
Correct.
attack helicopters. Huey Cobra,
Correct.
which is the other one, other than Apache,
right, sir,
it has got capabilities. If it was operating in Afghanistan,
correct.
but the capability at the very high altitudes which LCH has got, Huey Cobra can't operate.
But sir, जिस तरीके से
They don't design it for that.
fair sir, coming back to Z10 जिस तरीके से एंड स्पेशली चाइना जिस तरीके से अपग्रेड करने की और अपनी सप्लाई चेन्स को ऑप्टिममली यूज करने के लिए अक्रॉस द प्रोडक्ट्स हम देखते हैं, डोंट यू थिंक उनको ज्यादा वक्त नहीं लगेगा टू कैच अप विद अस एज फार एज एलसीएच इज कंसर्न्ड?
See, Z10 is a capable aircraft.
जी,
If I do a comparison, it'll be too early because LCH has just got inducted
करेक्ट.
2 years back. We have only 15 of them operating, 10 with Air Force, 5 with us. So it's going to, its impact is going to be felt a little later. Chinese have got almost 100 of these, as per the figure which I have read in the on Google. They have hundreds of these, and 30 of them are supposed to come to Pakistan. How many have come, I don't know. They've already trial evaluated
Correct.
with the latest engine. So there is, as of today, when you say the Z10, numbers wise they have more, but we have got the other one, which is also basically a gunship, Rudra. It's a ALH armed with missiles, everything. But obviously, it is not meant for high altitude and fighting there. It can operate there, but with lesser loads. So numbers wise, we are behind Chinese at this time, but we will catch up. LCH production with HAL, I think in coming times, we will catch up. But you're right, they have their production lines are much faster. They have numbers. But as far as attack helicopter is concerned, the only viable attack helicopter which can match in high altitude capability is the Z10. There's nothing else. Attack helicopter.
And sir, in such scenarios, numbers matter or tactics matter and planning matter?
Tactics and planning and the capabilities of the person behind the machine
So
matter.
objectively,
I read an article somewhere
जी,
that a lot of people are saying that we have 31 squadrons against 42.
correct.
He said, but there are a lot of assessments have been done even with this 31 squadron, the capability and the operational efficiency of the Indian Air Force may match the Chinese even with their larger number of squadrons and aircraft.
But sir, of course, that doesn't give us the
It
reason
doesn't
for
in reality.
for
Because something, our airfields are already there.
right.
When we take off, from ground level you're taking off, you take maximum weight armament with you.
Yes, sir.
You see all along your border, Hashimara, Bagdogra, Tejpur,
Correct.
they are all almost 200 feet zero sea level. So they can take all armaments and they can easily take off. Chinese have the disadvantage there.
Which, sir, I do agree, but I would like to add कि with the current, especially the post Galwan, जिस तरीके से उन्होंने upgrade किए हैं आपके होटान में and बाकी
They are upgrading, but still the advantage remains with us. Those are already at higher. See, when you take off a fighter aircraft takes off from 10,000 feet, his capability to carry armament is less compared to the guy who's taking off from 100 feet sea level. So that advantage we have, that capability of the fighter to carry more armament, more endurance. He is flying already lying there. So this is the advantage. It is there. It is because of the geography, nothing
Right.
else.
And so have you ever had a chance to do an exercise with pilots of other army units across the world? And usme, where do you rate our pilots? And which is the Air Force or the Army pilots that you respect the most outside the Indian?
Now, I have not flown with other pilots, but mostly, let me be very frank with you. The Pakistan Army, as professional as us, there I have met some of the generals during my after retirement, and their troops are basically it's the same herd. They went that side and we came this side.
Correct.
So it's the soldier is very good. I think it's the officers who have let them down in all the wars.
Is it
See what happened.
the problem is the ethics and morals in that army?
Yeah. So that is the problem. As far as flying is concerned, we saw what happened in Sindoor. They have got equally capable pilots on both sides. We also saw what happened when this chair was shot down. One of our pilots,
Kargil time pe?
not Kargil. Later on, when we had that attack on
Okay, sir.
Balakot,
Abhinandan.
Abhinandan.
Yeah.
So
Sorry.
they're equally, they came. It was expected they will come. So pilots wise, they are, as far as Pakistan is concerned, they're equally. We do, our Air Force is doing exercises with them. So obviously, they're doing with Russians, they're doing with Americans, they're doing with almost 20 to 30 countries we are now doing joint exercises. So capability of each other's pilots will be known. But unfortunately, I don't have any personal experience. But when they do exercises, that's the time they can make out what's the capability and what is not. The Americans always talk of Top Gun. They have a award instituted in their flying institute. So I would give credit to the pilots of the leading armies will have good training and good pilots because it's the training which makes them and not the leaders can be what they are, but I think most of the pilots will be good, capable.
So हमारा चाइना के ऊपर एक तो आपने टेरेन बता दिया वो तो ठीक है दैट इज एडवांटेज बाय डिफॉल्ट तो कुदरत की देन है where do we have edge over China considering it's a hostile neighbor?
The only edge I would say is our soldier. His capability, his dedication and the spirit is much better than the Chinese soldier.
Sir, why do you say that? Is that an emotional romanticism or is that a objective statement to make? Because on one and I'm asking that with utmost respect to you, so please don't take me wrong, is because how do I gauge that my motivation is higher than somebody else, and how do I reach to that conclusion is what I want to understand.
See, we have fought wars, and the wars tell you how the soldiers are, how the soldiers fight, and what is the spirit, and how are they led. Kargil was one example where not very many armies would have done what we did. Americans would have just blasted. They wouldn't have gone and suffered
So many casualties.
And Kargil is one example where it proves your young officers and your soldiers defied very death. They were not scared. Otherwise, tell me, heard all the stories, you've seen all what happened. We lost so many young officers because they led from the front, and our troops, knowing fully well that you're not going to come back, willingly went that way. Chinese have not fought wars for the last war they fought was with Vietnam. Okay. And their soldiers are conscripts.
Explain that, sir, please.
When they say conscript, mean they're reservists. They're with 2 years of experience, they are just made into a fighting soldier, PLA. So I think the motivation level, some parts of Galwan where one has heard the stories, that motivation was possibly lacking. This is my view from reading various journals and other stories. I may be wrong, but I personally feel, having seen our own soldiers fight, even in Galwan, they were fighting with sticks and whatever they had.
Right.
reacting to what after the Chinese had come in is something which requires courage and bravery.
Absolutely, sir. I'm nowhere doubting that, the motivation and the spirit of our forces. But to to say that my spirit is higher than yours, I need to know what's what the quantification on the other side. And I know perhaps it's very difficult to quantify the motivation on the other side, unless there's an absolute moral bankruptcy the way Pakistan has. एक बात बताइए, इन योर ओपिनियन, डू यू थिंक कि ये फौज की पेंशन ज्यादा चुभती है कि बाकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन भी तो गवर्नमेंट की ब्लोटेड होंगी ना?
But I think the maximum that is talked about is the pension of the 40s.
Why is that, sir? Why do you think कि वो उसके बारे में मैक्सिमम
I don't know, because they think that we do nothing except when war comes.
और सर, मे बी यूर टू डिसिप्लिन्ड एज अ फौज की फोर्स की, यू विल नॉट गिव बैक, स्ट्राइक नहीं कर सकते.
See, they say that in India as a country, no other countries fought so many wars. We have fought 5 with Pakistan, including Sindoor,
Yeah.
and 1 with China, and small skirmishes keep happening. I want to know which country in its independence has fought so many wars.
And then CICT ops has been going on for so many years.
It's on. It was Northeast is now almost under control, but J&K is going on. You have additional troops operating there for this purpose. There are troops sitting on the LC, and in the depth areas you have additional troops who are fighting. Can you get rid of them? How will you sanitize an area? Tomorrow they'll be there. What happened in Gulmarg? You didn't have anyone. You withdrew. People were, not on the ground, and we allowed
The same
them.
happened in Aknoor also, sir.
Yes.
And Rajouri area also.
So
The grid came down.
our requirement, because of a hostile neighbor on a western front, is troops on the ground. CIA operations is it requires, because when you get information, you have to move. I can't be sitting in Srinagar. Okay, now I will move. One group or one commando platoon to go and get hold of these chaps. It doesn't work that way. You have to be on the ground. You have to gain intelligence. You have to merge with the people there. That's how you'll be able to control it. And we have controlled it. Still, incidents happen. Despite that, still they happen. So I think this. We want to reduce the standing army. Maybe certain branches, they're already doing it, can be reduced. But I think the fighting strength cannot, in the present circumstance. Now you got Bangladesh problem. You got a third front coming up. It is
True.
They're talking about chicken's neck and cutting off the northeast. Openly talking about it.
True.
So
They're building bases close to the.
in an environment where we are surrounded by countries hostile to us, I mean, can you do away with the standing army?
So they're talking about cutting the chicken neck. Why aren't we talking about expanding the Siliguri corridor?
It's very that means you have to take Bangladesh territory. Only then you can expand, which we don't want to do. But we can always take action towards Agartala. उनके तो कई chicken neck है. उनको काट दो, they'll really be in big trouble. See, it's very easy to talk, we'll cut off the chicken neck, but if you see Agartala side, Bangladesh has got 2 places which are vulnerable. You cut them off. They won't know which side to go. So we are a bigger country. We have to be more
mature.
More mature and not make such statements where. But if you see the geography, we can pay them back equally. But I don't think so. Things will improve once the new government is formed.
फालतू में उछल रहे हैं, मतलब कि थोड़ा शांत हो जाएंगे.
Then it will be there. It is because of, I personally feel it's because of the elections that all this rhetoric is going on. It'll calm down.
So, sir, फौज के पेंशन बिल बहुत ज़्यादा लगते हैं. इनफैक्ट आर्स इज द ओनली डिफेंस बजट जहाँ पे पेंशन इज अ पार्ट ऑफ द डिफेंस बजट. If I have done my homework properly on this, generally pensions are kept outside the defense budget in the other countries. Forget about Pakistan, right? And then with the recent budget, there is a tax on disability pension also. So my question to you is, sir, कि in your opinion, both as a who has served for 40 years and later on outside army. Do you think armed forces को इज्जत और उनकी याद सिर्फ तब आती है जब सामने से गोलियां आती हैं कि और you generally feel कि a country and countrymen respect the forces और it is a matter of survival and need होती है तो तब याद आ जाती है और उसके बाद तो then who cares?
See, countrymen respect the forces. They don't know. Normal man respects.
You have experienced that enough.
They respect. Okay. Our presence is very less in the south. Their navy is more, and
Correct.
they don't see military the way it is seen. Army
In north.
in the north and central part of Rajasthan and other areas. So they don't see the army in that form. They see more of navy and a little bit of air force
Right.
there. So their concept is a little different, and I don't blame them for it. But I don't know. You saw the interview with a small sick boy. Prime Minister had called
जिसको भी award मिला वो
during Sindhu.
he took lassi
When
and
the army was deployed, he was taking lassi for the people and taking little snacks every day.
Shravan, if I'm not wrong, his name.
Yeah. So this is these people like us, like the armed forces. There is the general public.
There's no doubt about that.
That there's no doubt. There's no. But this debate keeps on. That there is. I have no doubt. Pension bill is high, but then our environment is such that we have to have a standing army, and that standing army has to retire, and they have to be looked after. But my also point of contention is that you have got that many defense civilian employees. Their strength is no less. Their pension is also included on defense budget. The defense civilian employees
Their
pension is also part of the defense budget. So
it's
they
a
are
double
also
whammy.
they are a sizable number.
Correct.
There are nothing less. So there are issues, that possibly take them out. If you don't want to take out the rest of at least take them out of the defense budget. So this is a problem. But you don't want the pension bill to come down. If you want, then we make good relations with all our neighbors and make sure that we are not intruded.
And Joki, which is not alone in our hands.
It is not in our hands.
At least I don't
it is
think-
on the neighbor.
It is on the neighbor
Pakistan
also.
is going to stop. And Chinese will keep you on tenterhooks. That is why they do not want to dissolve the LAC. They don't want to dissolve the border. Working committees keep, it's a working border. The LAC. Whoever occupies it, it becomes LAC. So with such borders, you have to maintain a standing army. There is no choice with you.
So my final questions on the subject, जो मैंने स्टार्टिंग में भी बोला था कि the initial and we saw that in Operation Sindhu, 24 to 48 hours में are very very decisive in any war. Now, my question is, do you see a lot of improvement has happened in the last 10 or 15 years in the way Indian armed forces are agile, coordination and so on? And आपके हिसाब से future roadmap, doctrine क्या होना चाहिए for the next 15 years? What are the areas we should be focusing? Should we be more manpower intensive or technology intensive? What is required, as a nation to become a very agile and lethal force for us to become ultimately a Viksit Bharat?
First of all, we got to have our own defense industrial base. It must become strong, and it should be capable of, generating technology here itself. We are depending on technology outside most of the time. We want to make a helicopter, we want an engine from outside. You want to make the 5th generation fighter, you have to get avionics and engines from outside. Even for your Tejas 2, the engine, we are negotiating with the Americans. They're supposed to give the engine for that. So we have to have a very strong defense industrial base. And in that, the private sector will have to play a very important role. If you want to be self-reliant and also become Viksit Bharat. Otherwise, whenever war starts, certain spares are not with you. because the equipment is from abroad. And the foreign power, depending on who they are, can always put the screws on you. Then I will not give it to you. Or I will give it to you at a price 10 times. This has happened in the past. It happened in Kargil, ammunition. It happened in
Sindoor.
Galwan, ammunition and some missiles, and even Kargil, even clothing. So there is, as far as we remain, our defense industrial base is very, very poor as of today. It's being built up. I mean, that way I must give full marks to this Prime Minister. He's focusing on this, that we must have self-reliance, made in India defense equipment. But technology is the requirement. चाहिए, टेक्नोलॉजी चाहिए. हमारे पास वो है नहीं है टेक्नोलॉजी. इंजन की तो बिल्कुल नहीं है.
हम रॉकेट बना सकते पर इंजन नहीं बना सकते.
Imagine Abdul Kalam made rockets when we were under sanctions after the nuclear 93 or the nuclear blast.
Correct.
But we made rockets which are very world class. If we can, I get intrigued. We can send a space aircraft to the moon. We can land a lander there in the darkest part of the moon. But whereas as far as defense equipment, making a stain gun or making a rifle has taken us ages. We still know we are getting it from Russia. Simple gun, a weapon, we are not able to make here in India. Now, of course, in collaboration with Russia, we are doing it. See, there is a mismatch here. Unless we get this thing going, and I think the answer is not only the public sector defense establishments, we have to get the private sector and give them the assurance that so much of orders will come every year. Only then he will come and hold his hand, even if you have to help him. That's what the Americans did with Bell, with all these big Boeing and all these big companies.
Correct.
Today they're producing defense aircraft also.
That's what China also did, sir, in fact.
So there is we can become self-reliant, but there are drastic and revolutionary actions to be taken. Even at times they may not be very welcome by some people, especially the PSUs. They always fear their turf is being. I was very happy to read that in this latest aircraft, this fifth generation fighter,
Rafale.
HAL is being left out.
Yes, sir. This is a recent.
So that's a good move.
That's
Why
a good
should
lesson.
HAL be involved everywhere? Let the private players come in. Give them the opportunity. So I think moving in the right direction, but it'll take time.
And are we moving fast enough?
Not fast enough. Our system is too, we have changes are being made. It's certainly faster than when I was serving, when it took ages and then the whole thing got cancelled. We went to square one. We have gone beyond that. But the bureaucratic lethargy still exists.
Sir, from aspiration to planning to execution, which is the biggest bottleneck? Is it political will? Is it the bureaucracy? Or at the non-military level? Or is it holding the turfs and fights at the military level, military hierarchy?
The industry blames the military hierarchy, and the hierarchy blames the industry. I don't know, this planning, everything is done. Now when the time comes to put it into practice, execution, where the industry or the HAL or the defense PSU is to do. Now there, sometimes the hierarchy also plays spoil sport. Why this happens is, because that weapon, which I wanted within the next 5 years or 7 years, has taken 20 years and I still not got it.
Correct.
Technology has changed. Everything has changed. What I made a GSQ at that time, it'll be something which I would have used in World War II. That will be the equation. So what happens? You start changing. Now you say, sorry, 20 years have passed. You've not given me what I wanted. No, I want this. So the whole thing changes. He has to now develop that, and rightly so. So this is the bane in our system, where we are not able to produce in time. I give you an example of this missiles, anti-tank missiles from the helicopter. It was earlier called Nag. Now it's called Helena and Dhruvastra. When it has taken 30 to 40 years for this missile. When we went into the concept, it was 4 kilometers range. Today, 4 kilometers is, you have a range, you'll be shot. The helicopter will be shot before you can even think of launching a missile. So now it's gone to 8 kilometers. Now they took time. Now they're giving it. But I'm saying it's taken 30 years
for one anti-tank missile.
For an anti-tank missile to be fired from which is capable of being fired from a helicopter. It was earlier called Nag. And I was associated at one time in my service, so I know. But I'm glad that finally it is coming, and it's coming with a longer range and with the capabilities that have been sought. So our system also needs a total upgrade and a push. And we have to get out of this bureaucratic lethargy.
सर हमारी मिलिट्री क्या prepared है टू फ्रंट वॉर के लिए?
Military prepared है, but we need equipment. Tell me, मैं आपको सीधा साधा क्वेश्चन पूछता हूँ. हमने अगर पाकिस्तान और चाइना दोनों से लड़ाई करनी है, टू फ्रंट वॉर, हमारे पास 31 स्क्वाड्रन्स काफ़ी हैं. सीधा साधा क्वेश्चन है. जब हमारी ऑल थ्रू रिक्वायरमेंट है 42 स्क्वाड्रन होने चाहिए, हमारे पास 31 है. कैन वी अफोर्ड अ टू वॉर फ्रंट? It will be disaster if we go for two war front. We have to manage one front and go for the other front in any scenario. Whether we have to use outside powers or whatever, in any scenario, till next 20 years, till we have the wherewithal, we will have to manage one front and go for the other. You can't go for two fronts with the type of equipment that you hold today.
Okay, so thanks a lot for joining in, and it was a pleasure hosting you.
Thank you, Manas. It's been a pleasure. We've had a long discussion, and I'm glad a lot of things came up, and I could, because I have kept in touch, and I still keep writing articles on this, and I am very passionate that one day Army Aviation should have all helicopters.
Well, now I thought it was coming with a lot of bias as an army officer, but now I think कि जो cadet Air Force में जा रहे थे वो फिर you're giving a very comprehensive picture. But one day, sir, we will have it again, and I'll request an Air Force officer also to join us, and then it will be a good perhaps.
Because he won't accept what I'm saying.
हाँ, मतलब ये क्योंकि आपका रोमांस यहाँ पे बहुत ना बाहर निकल के आ रहा था. It was very evident, just like in your articles, कि सब कुछ हमको दे दो, right? If you look at it from the other side. So I think it will be interesting when next time we also have another representation. We have other side.
That'll be more interesting.
That will be more interesting, sir. Yeah. But anyway, thanks a lot, sir, for obliging me and gracing the show.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, sir.